I know. My eyes create superimposium in and of itself do tell about the necessary necessities of said herbs and cleaning thy blood. Yeah, I know, I'm like cracking up. This is just a quick one, so I'm not gonna like try to constantly try to butt my head into other people's, their time, air times or whatever. Yeah, it's more, it's not like it's kind of like not trying to take attention away, but it's like you're like cracking up at something because it's like, okay, so it's funny because, all right, let's get to the nitty gritty here. Okay, so I had a reader in the past. She knows who she is. I won't mention names or whatever. So this is not like talking shit or picking on anyone or anything like that. It's just like saying the shit like it is or whatever, and also not thinking of things in like black and white. Okay, so um, she was getting mixed up with me in a read of me not being able to take constructive criticism, confusing that with instincts. So this is one thing, right? So this was in the recent past. I don't know, so many amount of days to within the past week or so or whatever. Give or take. Don't quote me on it or whatever. Um, I know, like the Aries like boldness is coming out and just it is the fine line between like you being negative and you just being like direct and like honest. Yeah, so like people even so I'm showing giving an example of how people get shit mixed up and twisted in their own perception of interpreting reality or other people, right? And let's face it, at the end of the day too, like if you gotta put people down like they're not an evolved individual, right? But that's, to whom it applies at any given point in time. We all know though the big head honcho mamas that take up a lot of mass to channel that do the bulk weight of channelings, right? Of downloads all at once. I just picture like this big blob mass over like I don't know like these little like feet, and they like mowed themselves around this like big mass of a creator. Yeah, I know. So it's like I don't take no offense to the shit anymore because I'm just kind of like over it. But at the same time, you're like, I'm not gonna keep listening to people being treated like pieces of shit and whatever. Yeah, or like like being talked to like pieces of shit. Mind you, that's an art form in and of itself, but there's just like a time and place for it. Yeah, it's about consent. So it's like understanding that the fine lines between it all, where everything comes together, and how to really see another person, or people just wanting to look at me small as like what a page instead of like a high priestess or something. Yeah, I know shit like that, but it's funny. I was cracking up when he mentioned that people are morons. But you're laughing and you're cracking up because it's like, it's true, but it's like like the person's like not being negative, they're just like keeping it real, that's it. So it's being able to tell, oh, this is crazy right now. It's being able to tell and read people truly, like that other example I gave. It wasn't that I had issue with constructive criticism, it was that someone didn't wasn't willing to embrace my femininity and in looking at what I'm doing as an instinctual thing, like trying to putting coconut oil in a coffee, trying to help them with amyloid plaque. Right. So it's like I am actually making more logical sense. And they say, what is that? They were talking about INFJs being introverts and being already logical. And I have heard of masculines actually. The only time they're logical is through, what is that? De Niro. Yeah, 444. So it's kind of like people are logical in different ways, and they will lack logic in other areas but have logic in other areas. No, I was just like cracking up, so I had to do a quick thing on it or whatever. I'm not trying to interrupt people. Because it's like I could see him and I understand him. Like, no, yeah, no, it's like he's not being negative. It's just Aries being direct and real. But only so many people can handle this and shit because it's larger than life. Because I was being also too is knowing the art of like being really direct to reveal the truth out of people and not being afraid to do it. When you're starting to get out of that like superstitious mode, but you know too, you're watching yourself in real life time, so you can go back on a timeline and be like, oh yeah, I was superstitious then, but where am I at now? And you know you've already shifted so much between then and now, and you could gauge yourself like this. Yeah, and be like, oh, so this time around it's not. Yeah, you know. Nah, anyway, you guys do it. Do your thing. Do your thing. Oh, I've been making these. I know people go from keep doing what you're doing, and then they go from you're too materialistic, blah blah blah. And I'm just like, why do you give a shit what I'm doing? It's weird too when it's like you don't give a shit what they're doing, but they give a shit what you're doing. It's the strangest phenomenon ever. Do tell. Oh, you mean the Black Widows, the narcissistic, really narcissistic females, when they come out and start poking their heads out, they think that they're ever going to phase you to begin with, which, if they think they're going to phase you to begin with, they got to ask backwards already. Just because I've dealt with so many toxic, psychotic women or whatever, sociopathic women. Just laugh. Tell them to go watch Vaknin. Go watch Vaknin, dearies. Go watch Vaknin. I know, what is that? It's an art form of like deflowering you and unraveling you. But yeah, I did that. It's pretty cool. Nifty, nifty, nifty. It's like yellow, so something with 528 hertz right now. I gotta do some more of that. Another gentleman in collective pushed me in that direction a little bit ago. Green Red Productions, because I was seeing red lights walking around the other night, my dog, in the neighborhood. So you think of Toth, Thome, and Ra, or Martian. So you will say Nicole's, Toth, Thome, and Martian, and Martians, and Ra. Yeah, the pyramids create an illusion because it's I get a kick out of it. So people may think that they're playing. I may think, or people may play favoritism with Omega, but that in and of itself creates an illusion because I've seen the right side up pyramid as Ra. And in a book by Zachariah Sitchin, they mentioned I think it's the one Divine Encounters. I briefly read it because it's hard for me. I'm a bibliophile. It's hard for me to sit still to like read shit or whatever. But I read a little thing in there and it said something different in comparison to maybe like spirit science or even like Manly P. Hall or like other esoteric hermetic theologians or whatever people want to call it. But people big into esoterics and shit. It was different because it was mentioning actually that basically like Ra or like the ram head is like the father of Thoth. So it's interesting too when people emphasize him, right? Which I don't there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I just find it interesting because people actually do play favoritisms and they don't even realize they're doing it. But it's also a way to like deny somebody else. Yeah. So it is weird too because it's like Satan's on either side, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, so it's kind of like, you know, to me it's pretty hilarious in the end. Yeah, it's kind of like people still don't necessarily fully see themselves, but by the time that they do, it's like too late. Because two people are too busy projecting at me that stupid or racist or all this stupid bullshit. My thing is, in the end of the day, like, everybody's got preferences and prejudices. It's like, who the fuck cares if they're not hurting nobody? Yeah, it's like, I can't even take offense. I'm not even gonna take offense to dudes if they're being picky or vain to a degree or whatever. It's like, in a lot of ways, still, it's like, I understand it too, because it's like, I'm the same way anyway. Yeah, so anyway, to those that are curious, real quick, I know I really like this yellow one. I might keep it. I look at, I was like, made these two other ones, but, and I'm keeping them, but I'm like, I need to make one to like sell. And all the freaking charms is ridiculous. I want to post this up later, so I'm not going to post up right now to those that are curious. But, yeah. Oh, I don't know. I actually don't, I'm not 100%. Okay, I'll meet you over there. I'm not 100% on the Native American tribe and or tribes I'm part of. But if I had to take a wild guess or guesses, it's gonna be either Hopi, 1111, because I seen a bumper sticker on the back of the car. Because knowing God works in mysterious ways, and it was like with the Star of David, and I'm just a Hopi girl or something, or this tetrahedron. Yeah, so yeah, I seen that. So that's the only one I could think of, but I haven't claimed like anything or whatever, though. EBH or quantum ship people mentioned and talked about it like a while ago, but you know. Yeah, so anyway, I don't know, maybe Cherokee. I know possibly too. Some people don't even consider that anything. But people just need to do their research first, before they quote me on anything and judge me or this or that. I know it's bad because there's actually just as much prejudices and hatred and disdain for the lighter ones. Yeah, so it really opens up your eyes on all that stuff. It's sad, but things are getting better or whatever. Anyway, to those that are curious to see all that stuff from being summoned.